You didn't stumble upon this message. Something deeper, quieter than logic, older than thought, brought you here. A frequency you've carried for years finally aligned with the sound of remembrance. You arrived because a part of you is ready to stop repeating what no longer serves you, and to finally understand why it keeps returning. You've spent so much time trying to change yourself through willpower, motivation, or discipline, and yet the same invisible loop keeps playing underneath. You call it procrastination, fear of success, inconsistency. But beneath it all, there's one deeper truth. Your subconscious isn't sabotaging you, it's protecting you from the unknown. What if self-sabotage isn't rebellion, but devotion? The body's devotion to what it believes is safe, even when that safety is pain. Wayne Dyer said, "You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are." That's not philosophy, it's energetic biology. Because what you are vibrationally is shaped by the emotions your nervous system has memorized as home. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that every familiar emotion becomes a chemical program. Pain becomes identity. And the moment you try to change, that identity panics. The body resists, not because it hates you, but because it doesn't trust the unfamiliar. That's why willpower fails. You can't force the body to believe in a future it hasn't yet felt safe in. True healing begins when you stop fighting resistance and start listening to it. Your resistance is not weakness, it's self-protection in disguise. And when you understand that, shame dissolves. You begin to see every pattern as a messenger, not a mistake. Over the next few moments, we'll uncover 4 deeper truths, 4 energetic roots beneath the surface behaviors, and one final remembrance that closes the loop for good. Because the moment you heal the story, the pattern no longer serves a purpose. Breathe. Slow down. You're not here to fix yourself. You're here to remember who you were before the pain became your teacher. Long before you could choose who you wanted to become, the world told you who you were allowed to be. Through tone, silence, and example, your caretakers handed you an invisible script, one written not in words but in nervous systems. You learned early how love felt, maybe inconsistent, maybe conditional. You learned that joy could be interrupted, that being seen might come with a price. And your brain, miraculous in its loyalty, stored those experiences as instructions. This is safety. This is connection. Neuroscience calls it mirror learning. Mirror neurons copy not just behavior, but emotion. You didn't only watch your parents, you absorbed their energy. If they lived in fear, your body learned vigilance. If they survived through control, your heart learned tension. And when you became an adult, you mistook these emotional hand-me-downs for personality. So you chase dreams but feel guilty receiving. You crave love but sabotage intimacy. You pray for peace but feel restless when it arrives. Not because you're broken, but because the brain values familiarity more than fulfillment. Predictability feels safer than possibility, even if what's predictable hurts. But here's the shift. Patterns lose power when they're seen with compassion. Start with awareness. Observe your reactions, and not to judge, but to understand. When someone offers you kindness and you pull away, notice. When success arrives and you downplay it, notice. That's the old story, replaying itself through your biology. Then feel it. Not analyze, feel. The tightening in your chest, the shallow breath, the pulse in your throat, that's the language of memory. And finally, rewrite. Speak gently to your body. You are safe now. You don't have to earn this peace. Wayne Dyer said, "You'll see it when you believe it." Belief isn't wishful thinking, it's emotional rehearsal. It's choosing to feel the reality before the evidence. That's how new neural pathways form. That's how faith becomes frequency. The story you inherited may be loud, but it isn't permanent. When you honor where it came from and choose differently, you start to live from the truth beneath it. You've always been worthy of what you seek. Your body learned to survive before it learned to live. That's why stillness feels suspicious, why peace feels like danger, why chaos feels like home. You've been trained to equate productivity with worth, hypervigilance with control, exhaustion with value. You think you're chasing growth, but you're actually chasing regulation through chaos, Dr. Joe Dispenza describes the cortisol-dopamine loop. Stress hormones flood your system, giving you the illusion of momentum. You feel alive in crisis because the chemistry is familiar. But what your body calls aliveness is actually adrenaline, and what your soul calls expansion requires calm. You cannot manifest coherence from contraction. You cannot create while holding your breath. Safety is not the absence of threat. It's the presence of regulation. Safety is a body that no longer waits for the other shoe to drop. Here's how you begin. Pause before reacting. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly for 6. Feel your shoulders soften, your heart slow, your body remember what presence feels like. Each conscious breath reprograms the amygdala, calming the stress response. You're literally teaching your nervous system that this moment, right now, is not a battlefield. You may have mistaken anxiety for intuition. They both whisper in the same voice, but one comes from fear, the other from coherence. Intuition is patient. Fear is urgent. You can only hear intuition when the noise of survival subsides. So, the next time peace feels uncomfortable, stay. Don't run back to the familiar storm. Let your body tremble, shake, release. You're not falling apart. You're rewiring. When your body learns that calm is safe, it stops calling chaos home. And for the first time, manifestation becomes flow, not fight. The hardest part of transformation isn't becoming someone new. It's letting go of who you believed you had to be. You've built an identity out of your history. The achiever, the caretaker, the avoider, the skeptic. All masks that once protected you. But protection becomes prison when the danger has passed. The ego's job is to preserve familiarity. It will defend even your limitations if they make you feel consistent. You'd rather be right about your pain than wrong about your power. Because being right feels safe, being powerful feels uncertain. This is cognitive dissonance, the tug-of-war between growth and safety. One part of you dreams, the other guards the door. Dr. Joe Dispenza reminds us that the brain cannot distinguish between a remembered and an imagined event. When you visualize your healed self and feel it, you are rehearsing a new identity neurologically. Each repetition weakens the neural connections of the old story and strengthens the ones of coherence. Try it. Close your eyes. Picture the version of you who already trusts life. Notice how they breathe, how they move, what emotions live in their body. Let your nervous system memorize that feeling. That's how identity changes. Through rehearsal, not force. The ego will protest. Let it. It's scared, not stubborn. Thank it for protecting you. Tell it you're safe now. You don't have to choose between who you were and who you're becoming. You can integrate both. Like a snake shedding its skin, transformation looks messy. Your vision blurs, your boundaries soften, and you begin to outgrow your old shape. Don't rush that. The confusion is sacred. It's the sound of old neurons releasing their grip. When you stop fighting your own becoming, you make space for coherence. And in that space, your potential no longer feels like a stranger. It feels like home. You've been told to think positive, to say affirmations, to visualize your dreams. But the field doesn't respond to words. It responds to energy. Your electromagnetic field, generated by the coherence between heart and brain, carries the emotional signature of your past. If the body is still addicted to disappointment, your field will broadcast it, no matter how loudly you affirm abundance. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows that gratitude and love expand the heart's electromagnetic range. They literally change your measurable frequency. That's why true manifestation isn't about desire, it's about emotional rehearsal. Ask yourself, what emotion does my future require? Peace, trust, worthiness. Then begin practicing it now, not pretending, embodying. Feel it in your breath, your muscles, your heartbeat. Affirmations without embodiment are static, but emotion plus awareness becomes signal. Memory is your default frequency. Intention becomes real only when it overrides memory. You must teach your body what the future feels like until it no longer confuses it with danger. So each morning, sit quietly. Place a hand over your heart. Breathe as if your wish has already unfolded. Let your body memorize the frequency of fulfillment. Do it daily until peace feels familiar. This is how science meets faith. When biology aligns with belief, matter reorganizes. You stop chasing results and start magnetizing coherence. Because you don't attract what you say you want, you attract what your nervous system remembers is safe. Beneath the stories, beneath the scars, beneath every act of self-sabotage, there's something that has never been touched by pain, awareness itself. Healing isn't about deleting the wound. It's about realizing you are not it. You are the consciousness observing it. The reason healing feels heavy is because you keep trying to fix something that was never broken, your essence. The body needed repair. The mind needed understanding. But your awareness was always whole. There's a hidden reward in suffering. It makes you feel moral, devoted, even spiritual. You think, if I keep hurting, I'm still trying. But that's not growth. It's identification with pain. It's forgetting that guilt is not depth. Real healing happens the moment you stop trying to destroy the wound and begin listening to it. Ask, what did I learn to believe about myself here? Then write it down. See it on paper, separate from you. I am unworthy becomes, there was a moment I felt unworthy. The moment passes, the truth remains. Wayne Dyer said, "You are not a human being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You were never meant to escape your humanity. You were meant to sanctify it, to feel everything and still remember, I am the awareness beneath it all. So when the old emotions rise, don't rush to silence them. Place your hand on your heart and whisper, thank you for protecting me, but I am safe now. That's how pain transforms into wisdom, not by resistance, but by recognition. Healing isn't becoming new, it's remembering what you've always been. When you stop identifying as the wound, you remember yourself as the medicine. Conclusion. When the story heals, the pattern no longer serves a purpose. Every pattern has a purpose, to reveal where love has yet to reach. Once love arrives, the pattern dissolves. Healing is not an exorcism of your past, it's a graduation from it. You no longer live in reaction, you live in creation. Wayne Dyer called this choice point consciousness. Every thought a creative act, every emotion a frequency. Neville Goddard called it living in the end, embodying the healed self until reality has no choice but to agree. Both point to the same truth. You are always broadcasting. The question is, from which state? Forgiveness is the final recalibration. Scientifically, it quiets the brain's threat system. Spiritually, it dissolves the energetic cord to the past. It's not saying what happened was okay. It's saying, I'm done carrying it. Self-sabotage was never sin. It was self-protection. The nervous system defending its last known safety. Now that you've taught it peace, it no longer needs to fight. So breathe, inhale presence, exhale history. Let silence expand between your thoughts. That silence is coherence. That stillness is who you are. You don't have to chase healing anymore. You've become it, and when the story heals, the pattern dissolves, because love has replaced fear, and awareness has remembered itself. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not the wound. You are the field remembering its wholeness. When you stop fighting your patterns, they stop needing to exist. And what remains is the truth that was always waiting for you. You were never the problem. You were the awakening.